If you could, this evening, try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. At the will of the board, it can be extended.
Todd Lazat, 21 Post Road. I'll keep my comments brief because of the weather. First of all, I hope that a decision is cast in order to kind of relieve the pressure that has culminated up to this point in regards to the 8th graders. I'm concerned now that I hear that some, from what I hear, a few 8th graders have already gained admission, supposedly to Pinkerton, which tells me that all of us that were waiting and waiting and waiting potentially missed an opportunity. However, I'm sure we'll recover from that. The next thing I want to just state that after this fact, hopefully we can do a postpartum on this thing and address some of the issues I have concerns with as an elected official of the town, and that is fiduciary responsibility and this begging for lawsuits and such. That needs to be seriously addressed. Each board member has a fiduciary responsibility and to the town, and that needs to be closely looked at. The next thing is I've only heard one vote for a negotiator, and that was Dr. Littlefield, and I've been barraged with emails discussing matters and finding them, being courtesy copy to the entire board of Pinkerton, the entire political community, and so forth and such, and I'm deeply concerned with that. I think it puts us in a disadvantage in the future, no matter how this situation goes. I think it compromises, looks at in terms of its people's outlook of us, and I think it needs to be addressed. And I'm sure there's remedies available to this board. Thank you very much.
Sorry, thank you very much, Mr. Lazar.
Sorry, Mark Messina. Good evening, board members and administration. Thanks for coming out in spite of the weather. I'd like to discuss 2 topics. The first of which is Clerk John Lisker's recent behavior. Recently, John's made several disturbing posts on Facebook. Examples include, my fellow board members are stooges. My fellow board members are idiots. My fellow board members have no integrity. I stand by my word, quote. There's a few others which I won't quote because there's kids in the audience. The behavior is clearly unprofessional and unacceptable. And without a voluntary code of conduct, there's no way to prevent this. Further harassment of the administration and the public by the clerk, representative right there. I ask that the board create a voluntary code of conduct and enforce the policy. Recently, John has reached out to Manchester Mayor Ted Gatsas and others suggesting Manchester Sue Hooksett, and has offered to share the inside scoop or privileged information to support such a strategy. This puts the town at a financial risk and threatens our high school opportunities. This rogue behavior is an outrageous reach without sanction by the board as a whole. The board members have agreed that once a decision has been reached by the board, all board members will work together to achieve that end. I ask that you create a policy to censure rogue board members. The board is distracted by all these antics. The aggregate of these actions has created a huge distraction from important business. I ask that moving forward, the board set agendas that are realistic with appropriate time allotted for each agenda item, and then stick to the agenda and timing. Please stick with facts and actionable plans that can fit the time allocated. Opinions, feelings, and suppositions have no place at board meetings. Save those for your spouse, your priest, or your shrink. Please come prepared for the agenda items with facts and data to present. If you don't have the answers, table the discussion and take an action to deliver those items. If you don't have a reason to object beyond your feelings, please refrain. My second point, the board has in front of them today 2 options.
30 seconds.
Option 1, stay with Manchester. a district in such deep failure that it makes the news across the country. The problems remain unfixed after a year, and Manchester has a profound lack of leadership to effect the necessary changes. Option 2, sign a contract with Pinkerton as the contracted school. Pinkerton is a well-run school that retains talent and stands on a 200-year history of excellence. A school with programs that set a high bar and demonstrate it values ascending districts by giving them 2 seats on the Board of Trustees. In short, aside from proximity, it's everything we wish for in a high school. There's some concern over the 10% opt-out. I know I'm going over. I request 1 more minute. That's okay with the board?
Yes.
Thank you.
I vote no.
Of course. There's some concern over the 10% opt-out limit at Pinkerton, and I think that actions and data speak louder than words. Parents don't opt out of well-run schools, and this is supported by facts. Last year, Derry had only 1.5% opt-out, and Chester had 0% opt-out. 50% of Hooksett students opted out of Manchester last year, even with the out-of-pocket expenses and having to provide their own transportation. That speaks volumes. Parents will go to great lengths to ensure their child has the best opportunities. Students don't opt out of a top-quality education based on convenience. Last year, parents were in a panic to find their children a way out of Manchester because that system has failed. This year's 8th grade parents are very anxious, looking for a way out for the 2014-2015 school year. In a future with Manchester with limited MOU options, the seats at opt-out schools will be in great demand. Please consider a compromise solution. A contract with Pinkerton is the anchor school, and sign an MOU with Manchester. Please work to put this on the ballot for voters in March. Thank you for your time and effort on behalf of our children.
Thank you, Mr. Messina. Thank you very much.
Dave Levesque, 29 Morrill Road. If it indulges the board, I may need a few minutes, in additional to my 3 minutes, but I'll ask for that if I get through. I would like to first start off by saying some members of the board may think that I got hit in the head too many times by slap shots. I'm quite nervous in talking like this about something that means so dear to me. My name is Dave Levesque. I'm writing a letter of complaint in regards to school board member John Liscars. It is my hope that bringing my complaint to the public forum, people will see the latest tactics John is undertaking with those who disagree with his views. It is also my hope that further false allegations or accusations against me, my career, or my employer will stop. Attached to this letter, the one John threw on the ground, you will find several screenshots of evidence that will document the transactions that occurred on the Hooksett Banner Facebook page over the past few weeks. The reasons the screenshots were necessary was that John has since deleted some of the posts from the Hooksett Banner page after several hours, several days, and some are still there. I am very concerned that John has made comments that could compromise Hooksett's position in regards to working with other towns that send students to Pinkerton Academy, as well as the Derry School District. These comments were made as a result of John knowing that I'm employed as a teacher at the Derry Cooperative School District. John first implicated my employer when I originally asked John to clarify whether or not he acted as a member of the school board when he asked Mayor Gatsas to waive half of the settlement fee. The reason why I asked this question is John Liscars signed the letter, Hooksett School Board Clerk. I did not provoke John in any other way other than ask that question. Since that day, John Liscars has unleashed a barrage of comments against me publicly on social media, to the point where I was called into my own principal's office. On December 4th, he stated that how about, and I quote, I take $100,000 out of your slush fund from Derry and we'll call it even. He even went on to say in the second post, "Dave, now please go away, stop instigating, and help us find real solutions for the Hooksett children, not just those that help the dairy tax base where you are employed." They are semi-private. The Dairy Cooperative School District and Pinkerton does not control my contract. So for the record, it has nothing to do with my salary, although that's what you implied. Request for additional time?
Absolutely.
I vote no.
John Lisgar's comments implicate that I am financially looking to benefit from this agreement. The fact of the matter is, I have nothing to gain from this. My children are done high school. They are now on college. As you can tell, I'm sitting here shaking, sad. So not only were his comments out of lines, they're false and malicious, not to mention that these comments are not conducive to a healthy working relationship with Pinkerton. As a concerned citizen, if we pass a contract tonight and it passes the voters in March, it's my understanding that we will have representation on the board. It's very clear to me what John's intentions are about how Hooksett would be paying tuition money to Pinkerton. I do not feel he would represent this town in the best interest of our children. Again, please take a minute or two to look at the posted comments of the screenshots that I have posted to this page. He's publicly called me a bully, and it continues to implicate my employer. When I took the higher road, Mr. Lisgars, I did not respond to any of your comments. You have even gone to my friends to post things about me.
Could you please shut your timer off, Mr. Lisgars? We have a member of the public speaking. Thank you.
Are we going to vote on an extension of the time again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I vote no.
You can continue, Mr. Levesque.
Thank you. You have gone on to post things who we share common friends with in this town so that I would see it. I don't even know where to go with this other than it's all been recorded. Just when I thought it was going to stop, somehow I miraculously did not appear on John Lisgar's top 10 to bash for a while. I get a Christmas card in the mail from John Lisgar's. We have a problem on this board. At first, I thought it was a nice thing to get a Christmas card until I opened the letter. And inside the letter was a slap in the face to say, I helped to keep the opposition going, and every time anyone spoke in opposition to John Lisgar's, he put his Kettle campaign link to anything. As to which I have posted one thing, and you did this. People that I call friends and family don't talk bad about me and send me Christmas cards when they have a view like you do. And I'm going to give this back to you. I don't want it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public who would like to address the Hooksett School Board?
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Allen. I live at 27 Barberry Street. Thank you, administration and school board, for hearing my comments. I don't have prepared comments, but I want to say that the eloquent comments that Mark Messina and Dave Levesque just presented before you, I agree completely with. And in regards to John Lisgars, you have done the same thing. We received your Christmas card, and I find it extremely offensive. And your behavior at the board and what you've done to this board is corrupt and unjust. And I think that Hooksett deserves Hooksett has to have some recourse for this, because your behavior is not okay. And nobody should stand for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Hi, my name is is Kristen Goodrich, and I live at 1 Farwood Drive, and I just had a question. I'm fairly new, this is my second meeting, and I am completely mortified and embarrassed to live in Hooksett. I have read some of the posts that I have seen that are allegedly written by Mr. Liskars, and I have never seen anything like it. So my question to you is, I work in healthcare, and I know that committees have bylaws, which I couldn't find. So what is the recourse that we have as parents to, when we don't approve of behavior of a board member, what is our recourse?
I didn't catch your first name.
It's Kristen.
Kristen. Just because this is your second meeting and your first time coming up to speak, typically when we're asked questions at a board meeting and at this point in time, we don't answer you directly. We follow up later. There is a point in our agenda where it says comment
Sure.
on public input, and we will address
So
it.
could I address that in an email to you?
Absolutely.
And you would respond and give me that information?
Yep, and I have your question written down, and that will be responded to you. Usually it's in the response to public comment.
Am I able to ask Mr. Liskars a question?
Yes.
I just was curious what the sign that you were holding up meant.
Would you like me to respond? Would the board like me to respond? I'm going to stop your timer just so I don't take away from your time. What these individuals tonight have presented.
I actually, the only thing I
Oh,
need to...
you asked
sorry
me
to
a question, and I'm answering your question.
Mhm.
Okay. What these individuals tonight have promoted to you is that they are angelic characters. They have done nothing wrong. These people that have spoken tonight have provoked me since I've been on this board. Mr. L, maybe you'd like to discuss how you asked me in a Londonderry parking lot to step aside from the crowd so we could speak where nobody could hear us. Do you remember that?
I sure do.
Okay, good.
What point of order?
And
This is a point of order. You need to answer her question.
Oh, I
Right.
am.
No, you're not.
I'm
You're
just
Sure.
curious about the sign, that's it. I don't want to get into any other...
So
I just was
the
curious about
sign basically is a smile and a wink to these people who think they're kidding Hooksett, New Hampshire, into believing that John Liskars is some crazy nut, a whack job, he's a provoker. John Liskars has stated very clearly that I can work with anybody, and I've proven that with lots of people in this town. I've also said that if I am provoked, don't expect me to lie down, which is what these people would prefer. They say, take a higher ground, you're an elected official. I say it's time for new politics, if that's what we're gonna do. If we're gonna allow people to bully us, just because we sit on the board, I don't play that way. Okay? I was raised in a blue-collar family. You stand up for what's right. I'm standing up for the children of Hooksett, whether this board wants it or not. And I will not be bullied or provoked by any of these people. I will fight back every time. So I apologize if it sounds kind of strong to you because this is your first or second meeting and you've read some of those comments that I've written on Facebook. I stand behind every word I write out there. Other people don't put their words down in writing and they think they get a free pass from that. I don't want a free pass. I put my writing down there so you can see exactly what I mean and what I say, and I stand behind every comment.
And I do just want to say that I have a mind of my own. I don't need anybody steering me towards. I made my own decision. I feel that that sign in itself is disrespectful to the parents here, and I think the comments are completely disrespectful. So, again, I work in healthcare, and people disagree all the time, and this is not the way to do it.
And I'm here to tell you that in March, you're going to see a different board.
One more question.
Absolutely.
Dave Levesque, 29 Morrill Road. My question to the board is, since Mr. Liskars is choosing to act in unison with the school board on some of his actions, is the school board or the town obligated to represent Mr. Liskars in any civil matter that is, he's not acting under a directive of the board? My follow-up is, are we responsible to represent him with town money? Thank you.